Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to a makeup video. So I haven't done one of these videos in a very long time, but I thought that I would show you my everyday makeup routine. So we are obviously starting this video with a complete blank canvas. I've just done my hair to make myself look a little bit better, but I'm just going to pop on my moisturiser. This is the Elemis Pro Collagen Marine Cream SPF. It's my daily moisturiser that I use every single day, and this is actually a brand new one. Obviously I can't start the day without SPF. That is the first thing that goes on after my skincare, obviously. This is my favourite moisturiser. I've used it for a very long time now, and this is my, I think, third tub of this. It's expensive, but it's very good and I really like it. So in my last vlog, I think it was my last vlog, my January reset vlog, I spoke to you guys about my skin and how much better it was doing since I started using Skin and Me, and it is still looking quite good, but I basically went down to Bournemouth for about 5 days last week and I forgot to take my little daily doser with me, and I don't know if you can see, but I have broken out here on my chin, which has not happened since I started using Skin and Me. So that's how well the daily doser seems to be working. So I'm a little bit annoyed about this, but anyway, I'm back home now and I won't be forgetting it again. And because the spot is kind of on my jawline, you can't really see it as badly. I am also feeling very hormonal, so that could be a factor as well, as I've got a tiny little blemish coming up on my chin, I can feel, and I've got a little hot water bottle with me. This one, I showed this in my what I got for Christmas video. It's actually a foot hot water bottle as well. I'm just using it as a normal one now, but you can pop your feet in there and it's so cozy. I did it last night because it's really cold at the moment. It's currently still -6, yeah, it's -6 degrees. For priming my face, I'm going to use the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. Again, it's very much like a moisturiser. I would use this on its own as a moisturiser slash primer if it had an SPF in it, but it doesn't, so that's why I popped my daily moisturiser underneath. But this I find works really well as a primer, gives my skin such a nice glowy base and helps prolong my makeup, keep it on all day. I hope that this lighting is okay, by the way. It's just very dark this morning, and I need to get on with filming some other things, so I had to film this video this morning. So I'm actually going to start with my brows, which I don't think I've done before in a makeup video. I'm using the same product that I always use, which is the Refy Brow Sculpt, and I love this. I've been using this for ages now, but I found that I get the best effect when I use this as my first makeup product. So I literally just brush the brows up and then brush them back down. I'm always very careful as well to try and get product only on the hairs and not to catch the skin around the eyebrows as well, because then it makes my makeup underneath sit very gloopy. And then I brush them back up. Finding the right balance of how much of this product to use is quite difficult. It took me actually a lot of trial and error to get used to it, but I think I've finally cracked it. Then underneath the lid there is this little plastic angled brush, and with the thinner end I just brush the hairs all the way up. Don't be alarmed, we're not going to leave them like this, but you could if you wanted to. Direction, and then with the more flimsy brush end I just push the hairs down into place. Same on the other side. I feel like the first time I did this to my eyebrows it was really difficult because they weren't used to being pushed in this direction. Now, because I do this all the time, they go upright so easily. So now that that is done, I just grab again this little plastic end and I just kind of go along and flatten those spiky hairs to make a little bit more of a natural shape. So the brows are still brushed up, but they kind of go up and down, which I find is a lot more flattering than straight up spike. And that is literally all that I do to my brows. I don't put any pencil or any pomade or anything on them anymore. Just literally brush them. I feel like they're kind of like dark enough and full enough already that I don't really need to do that. So next I'm going to go in with a foundation. I have the Ambient Soft Glow Foundation by Hourglass. I use 2 different shades I mix together, 5.5 and number 6, and I love this foundation. I also find that it works best with the foundation brush. Obviously I'll leave all of this linked down below. I'm just going to go over my eyebrows and just wipe with my finger to make sure there's no kind of excess of the brow sculpt, because like I said, that will not sit nicely under my foundation. So I just put a small pump of either of these on the back of my hand and mix them together. I really love this foundation. It's quite, I find, a thick coverage. So most days if I am not filming, I will use a much lighter base. So I will use a mixture of usually a foundation and a tinted moisturiser, so that I'm not getting like a full foundation base. Whereas I find that this combination, especially I think because I'm mixing the two together, I find that it's a very high coverage foundation, but it's not suffocating on my skin at all. It still feels very light even though it is full coverage, and you can still really see the skin underneath. So in my opinion, that is kind of the perfect mix for a foundation. So if I'm going like out somewhere special or if I'm filming, I will always use this combination because it's just that bit heavier, it lasts a lot longer as well. Of course, I always bring the foundation kind of over my ear a little bit and all the way down my neck to fully blend. I find my forehead is the place that literally needs the least amount. I just do it to match the colours, obviously. If it didn't need to have foundation on it, I probably wouldn't wear any makeup on my forehead, because it's the only part of my skin that is kind of completely blemish and pore free. Obviously focus the most product around my chin and nose area, because that is the most kind of uneven skin tone or skin texture that I have. That is foundation all blended in. Next logical step would be concealer, so that is what I'm going to do. I use the Nars Creamy Concealer in shade Custard. I use a mixture between this one and the Hourglass Concealer as well, but I've been loving this one at the moment. I got a brand new one for Christmas, and there is nothing like brand new makeup products. You get so much product out. I just love it when it's brand new, because the other one was really nearing the end, so it's way more fun to use a brand new product. So as you can see, I just pop the concealer kind of straight down rather than across my under eye. Under eye is definitely where the most coverage is needed for concealer. Just do a little bit on the outer corner and then drag it up from the corners of my mouth as well. And then I find that the best way to blend my concealer is with a beauty blender. This one is super old, but I just find that this sets my concealer a lot better than a brush would, and it kind of pushes the product into my skin rather than blending it or moving it around my face too much. Next up is setting powder. This is the Givenchy Blanc Divine loose powder, and I love this product. I never used to use a setting powder until probably about 6 months ago. Started with an Anastasia Beverly Hills one, which was quite cakey, and it was a little bit yellow in colour as well. This one is completely translucent, which I love. I use 2 different brushes for this, so both Morphe ones. They're from a set, so I will leave the set linked. This like floofy one I use for my under eye. Yes, floofy is the technical term. Just have a little bit on the end of the brush and then press it in to where I just pop the concealer, because I do find the under eye creases ever such a lot, so I try and get the product as flat on my skin as I can, and this brush is very good for doing that. Not too much product, because then my under eye becomes cakey and I find creases even more. That's why I always tap the brush before placing the product onto my under eye. Also, the smell of this powder is beautiful. I don't know what they put in it, but it is gorgeous. Also, super long lasting product. Is expensive, yes, because it's Givenchy, but I've been using this every day for God knows how long. There's not even a dent in it. And then I just use this flat powder brush to pop the excess powder around my face. But yeah, I never used to use setting powder. I think it was because in the summer I like my face to be quite glowy. And I always found that powder just obviously would mattify it quite a lot, whereas in the winter I'm not too fussed about having a glowy base. I found that actually I took it a bit too far with the glowy base and my skin was looking a little bit wet at points. Powder was definitely needed, and this is amazing. Keeps my makeup on all day long. Now we are going to continue with the base, and I'm going to use my bronzer. This is the Refy cream bronzer in shade Sand. And again, I think this is like my third one of this. I absolutely love it. I use the Refy brush, which is looking a little worse for wear. I mean, I definitely need a new one of these. I should have asked for that for Christmas. But yeah, I just pop a little bit on this big end of the brush and just blend that into my cheekbones. I find that using this bronzer is enough to bronze and contour my face. I think it's a really, really lovely shade, and adding that cream bronzer on top of like a mattifying setting powder really does just give your face that kind of glowy look without it being too glowy. I feel like if I was to use a powder bronzer on top of that Givenchy setting powder, my face would be so mattified. So yeah, literally I just go in that 3 shape around my face, just literally like that, making sure I get my jawline. Sometimes I bring it down my neck as well. I'm someone that tends to go a little bit overboard on bronzer, so I'm just going to stop there. Next up, we'll do a little bit of blush. I have this cream one from Nars, and it is in shade Orgasm. I just use the other end of the Refy brush for this, and just literally dab that in the apples of my cheeks, and sometimes bring it up a little bit as well. This is a very, very subtle blush, I think, so you can afford to kind of really stick your brush in there. Some are so super pigmented. The Refy one, literally your brush doesn't even need to touch it and you've got enough product on there, whereas this one you can afford to use a little bit more. But yeah, like I said, using those cream products I feel like takes the matte away from my face a little bit, which I quite like. Right, next up for highlighter, I have this Refy one. It's in shade Topaz, and it is the gloss highlighter. Find a little bit of gloss to give my face that glowy look that I love. It just popped a little bit on each of my ring fingers, and it just goes on my cheekbone, and I bring it up sometimes around my eyebrow as well. Obviously same on the other side. Again, this is a Refy product you do not need much of. Pop a little bit on the end of my nose, chin, and forehead as well. I find if I just literally tap it with my ring finger, it sits on the face really, really nicely, and it just gives a very natural glow. So base done, let's move on to eyes. I have 2 fluffy brushes here, so old I can't really remember where they're from, but I will leave a blending brush linked down below for you guys. I'm going to take this Bobbi Brown palette, which I absolutely love. I got it at their Christmas party. The colours are just gorgeous. Sorry, it's looking a little bit dirty. I'm going to use a mixture of this one and this one for my base. I'm going to be very light and fluffy like the brushes are with this, just literally getting rid of any crease or anything that may have already been here. So that is the base done. I'm now going to get my other fluffy brush, which is for the slightly darker colours, and I'm going to do this one here in the crease. So literally I just press a very small amount into the corner of my eye, and then just very slowly and lightly bring it round the crease, and you get a really lovely subtle shape. Now if I was having maybe a lighter makeup day, I would just stop at this step and leave it there. I feel like it's quite a nice light eye look without being overpowering. You've got something there, but it is very, very subtle. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do a little bit more, go for the heavier look that I like to wear. I'm now going to go with this darker brown and just do exactly the same thing in the crease, just to accentuate that a little bit more. Now just to match that, I'm going to take this fine brush with a mixture of those 2 browns that I just used, and just go very, very subtly under my eye. Just kind of ties the whole look together. I am then take the same brush, go with this slightly darker shade here, well, a lot darker, and just pop a little bit along the top of my lash line to act as a very subtle eyeliner. I just take this sort of from halfway along my eyelid, not the whole way. Then without putting any new product on this brush, I just go back through and just blend what I've just done. Keep it nice and subtle. Blend the under eye bit as well a little bit. And then to finish it off, I'm going to take my ring finger and get a little bit of this sparkle up the top here and just place it on my eyelid. A very, very subtle bit of sparkle. I just feel all those colours work really nicely together. I'm going to take this fine brush as well and get a little bit of the sparkle on that for the under eye, so it all matches and ties in together. And then one last final blend. So once my eyes are done, I just go underneath with the powder brush just to make sure there's no fallout. To be honest, is that in my eyebrow? Nothing. To be honest, this palette, this Bobbi Brown palette, is so good. There's never really any fallout, and I don't find that the powder creases on my eyes at all. So I have a brand new pack of my favourite lashes here. These are the Ilia 117 Fluttery Light lashes. Obviously got a 3-pack here. I got this for Christmas in my stocking, and I've used these lashes, I think I said that in my what I got for Christmas video. I've used these lashes for maybe like 10 years. I absolutely love them. I've tried loads of other different ones, and I always go back to these ones. I don't use the whole lash. I'm going to cut them in half now. I've got my little scissors, and I find it's easiest to cut whilst they're still on the plastic stuck down, so you can see that you're cutting both sides in exactly the same place. I literally just go straight down the middle. I'm gonna go with the inner corner side so that they're a bit shorter. Perhaps if I was going out for like an evening thing, I'd go for the outer side so they're a little bit longer. This is what they look like cut in half. Got highlighter all over my hands. But I'm just going to place a little bit of glue. I don't use the glue that comes with the lashes. This one I got from Amazon, and it's really, really, really good. Really good eyelash glue. So obviously that will be linked down below. It's super affordable as well. Just put a very, very small amount of glue on there. You do not need much. The most important thing is to leave it to dry for a minute. I'll glue up the other one whilst I'm leaving that one to dry. What I love about these lashes is that they have such a thin band on them. So many lashes have such a thick band that you have to stick to your eyelid, and it's so difficult to make it look natural when it's like that. Whereas these ones are so thin and so subtle, you can hardly see the band. So I'm just going to use the mirror in here to do this. So once that is placed on my lash line, I just go with the back of the tweezers and just push it down, and I feel like that really secures the lashes in place. Next one. So yeah, this is more like, instead of a corner lash, these are more like a half lash. Definitely goes from where I kind of put that liner. So that is the lashes done. As you can see, so nice and subtle, which is what I love. Obviously going to go over with some mascara. This is the Pillow Talk Push Up Lashes Mascara, and I've never used this before. I ordered it on Amazon the other day, so I thought I'd give it a go. Obviously just go over the lashes as well. If I'm just wearing my day-to-day makeup, I won't do the bottom lashes, or sometimes I don't even put the corner lashes on. But because this was a slightly heavier eye look and I did that little bit of shadow on the under eye, I thought the bottom lashes need a little something. And finally, to finish off with lips, I'm going to use my new favourite lip liner. This is the MAC lip liner in Spice, and it is the perfect nude. I used to use the Rimmel lip liner in shade Tiramisu, which I also loved, but I think I may slightly prefer this MAC one, slightly prefer the shade of it. So now I'm just using the NYX matte lip cream in shade Stockholm. I have this in shade London as well, which I think is a slightly more brown nude, and I would say this one is slightly more of a pinky nude, but I love them both. And then finally I'm going to go over the top of this combination like I always do with my Dior lip oil. And this is the universal shade, which is just 000. It's completely clear. It's gone a little bit pinky though, where I've used it over the top of other lipsticks, but it's just the best lip gloss ever. In my opinion, you can never have too much of this. It just gives your lips almost like that artificial glossy look. But yeah, my favourite lip combination ever. So just to finish off, the last product I like to use is the Amorovixa Queen of Hungary Hydrating Mist. And I just literally spray this all over my face. Smells incredible. It's not too heavy. It's not a setting spray or anything like that. It just gives my skin a little bit of moisture, and I feel like it's a really nice way to finish off the makeup look. I may go and show you over there actually, because that'll be a slightly better light. There we go. You can see my skin a little bit better, but this is the final look. And like I said, my everyday makeup with a few changes here and there if I want it slightly heavier or more full coverage. But these are a mixture of new products I've been trying out and some go-tos that I've had for years. So I really hope you guys enjoyed seeing this. I know some of you mentioned on YouTube and over on Instagram that you wanted to see more beauty content from me, so I've definitely been trying to do that. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Do let me know if you want to see any more like makeup, skincare hauls, anything like that, and I will be sure to film them for you. Obviously everything that I have used and spoken about will be linked in the description box down below. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I will get back to you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, it would be amazing if you could give it a like. If you're new to my channel, I would love it if you subscribed, and I will see you all very soon in another video. Bye.